Hi FlossTube, this is Barb with Lost and Floss. Episode 50s, 60s, I'm going to have to look it up. But today is June 1st, 2021, and my last video was over a month ago because it was before Mania My Way started. So thought I would take the opportunity on this beautiful afternoon up in the north woods of Wisconsin and show you not only my progress on the stocking, but lots of other things. I've been stitching up a storm and have some great finishes, so hope you stick around and enjoy what you see. Before I go any further, channel about cross stitch, and I decided not to print for the cameras because, well, I'm wearing my gray shirt, so that should make up for something, right? But I'm like, I'm just gonna get this done. I was out planting flowers this morning and sprucing up, trimming bushes up here, and just getting things all set. We had a little bit of snow last week and temperatures below freezing, so didn't want to plant any annuals because I knew they would not make it. So, but anyways, let's move on and talk about what I've all been working on. So, before I go any further, I have to show, I'm going to show her Stop the Floss because I didn't get very far on it. Lisa, another Wisconsin stitcher, so graciously gave me some wood applique projects to try, and this is the one I picked to do first, and I was all set to like get it done this week. But the only thing is I forgot to bring along my pinking shears, and so I couldn't do the stripes, and then I'm like, I did some fusing but not enough to really show, so I'll have to show that next time. Other stitchy kindness from my other stitcher friend Lisa, local stitch group person. She gifted me this Peace Rose Blackbird design. Oh, there's a bee buzzing around. You must like the flower on this. And it always cracks me up. The teacher in her, she also gave me some of the flosses, but look at, she's got them all labeled and everything. I'm like, I always find that most teachers are pretty organized. I love having teachers for friends. So anyways, thank you, Lisa. That was really, really nice. As far as stash, I bought the Happy Birthday America kit from the attic, and a little stand for the cake stand, and some Lady Dot Creates trim, and then this will be the backing fabric, and I'll show you, I just had it started, so I'll show you the whip of it in a little bit. So that's kind of a fun thing to work on. And let's see here. All right, so Mania My Way. What I do is commit to working on one project, and so far I've always had Christmas stockings to work on, so far it's been Christmas stockings, but I try to commit to working on it 1 hour a day every day in May, and then after that I can do whatever I want. So anyways, I started out not very good because May 1st was our son-in-law's birthday, and it was the first time his parents and my husband and myself have been with my son-in-law, daughter, and the grandkids all together. And so I had done a long walk in the morning with some friends, and I did some yard work in the afternoon, and then we went there for dinner, and I thought, oh, I'll for sure do some stitching when we get home. I was just too tired, and you know, they're my rules, so who cares? I'm not, you know, I won't get a year-end review to see if I met my stitching goals. So, yeah. So, other than 2 days, I stitched on the stocking 29 days in May. And I don't know what percentage that equals out to be, but I feel pretty good about that. So now if I can find it to show you, just as a refresher, this is Santa's Plate, and it's a Dimensions Gold Kit. And there's a couple people who are stitching this now. They're much further along than I am, and I just can't wait to make more progress on it. But I'm feeling really good. I've learned, I say this every stocking, but I've learned so much. Like, I'm not dreading working on this anymore because I'm keeping much better track of what I've stitched and what I haven't stitched on it. And so I can just pop on and know right where I am. But anyways, let's see. Am I showing it? It's hard to... So you know, it's kind of funny because you can definitely see the start and stop line, but I think I'm going to, you know, finish this whole band before I either move up or down. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe well, I might move up and at least do the reindeer, get those all done. So right now, I mean, it's amazing how the back stitching really brings it out. I've got a couple of reindeer butts in Santa, but Santa's waving. So it was a good month, and my goal is to get this done. Once again, loosely goal. A year, not this Christmas, but Christmas of 2022. So it's not like I have to be a fanatic about, you know, being crazy on it, but I've always find that the further I get with them, it just gets easier. So speaking of my grandkids, I just have to show you what they gave me because this is so cute. They did some little art creations. And look at this guy. Ooh, he's kind of scary. Oh, and look at this. I love like the fringe. But this was for my granddaughter, and this just, look at that. It's decorated with a rhinestone. And then my grandson, who was in kindergarten, as his art project, he made this. And right away he said to his mom, he goes, I'm going to give that to Bobby. That's my grandma's name. And look at, he did such a good job. I couldn't believe it. So I find, you know, they're just treasures that, I don't know, it just touches my heart. I'm very lucky. The 3-year-old, the saucy one, not sassy, but saucy. He's got personality. Well, they all do, but my daughter heard him one day. My son-in-law was in his office, and he went in and asked him his question, and then my son-in-law replied, and then the 3-year-old says to him, thanks for the feedback. So, they're just too cute. So, let's move on. I've got really quite a few whips and a couple FFOs. So, let's see. I don't think I showed this as far along as I am. I'm just a couple spools short of being done with Broderie à Paris by Sue Hills Designs. I'm stitching this on 20, 28 count vintage country mocha with Belsois cranberry, and the part that's left are just the spool tops and bottoms there. And then I think she did a real needle in there, so I thought I would do that. And then the white spaces get little buttons. So in this part, I was supposed to put my initials in, but according to the chart, they wouldn't fit anyways, so I just did it as a little back stitch, and then I'm going to try to find a tiny, tiny button to fit behind that. Oh, I guess there's buttons in this space too. So I can't wait to get that done. Hopefully by next video, and then I'll have that to show you. I'm working on this little freebie. I really don't know the name of it. 1776 maybe. Samplers in Santa. 2007. But I have a little box I'm going to be putting this in, so I just want it to fit. And I'm stitching, I think this is platinum, 36 count, and I'm stitching 1/2 with just DMC. I think the stars are Grecian gold, and I used 2/2 to make them stand out a bit. But I goofed up, and the red is supposed to be right underneath that blue. But I'm hoping if I do, because you don't stitch the white, you just leave that blank. So I'm hoping if I do 2 red stripes, that's gonna look okay. I mean, I think it's what it is. And then at the top, this is a freebie, I'll just show you. I need some new printer ink. It just says 1776. So you might have seen other people stitching this, but I'm using DMC 930 for the blue and 3858 for the red. All right. Let's see. I can't find the cover chart for this. Liberty Dwells by Brenda Gervais. I'm stitching 1/2 on 36 count. I'm not quite sure. Mystery. But I've almost got the two people done. And then I think there's some more stars, and it's probably 1776 and more lettering. But this actually is going pretty fast. So I think I'll maybe make it into a little pillow. So aiming to have that done by the 4th of July. Let's see here. My box of treasures. Little House Needleworks, America. Man, oh man. These houses, they seem like they go so fast, and I wish I would have, this is 32 count, country French French country rain, something like that. But I'm stitching, because it's 32 count, I was stitching 2/2, and now that I'm doing more 1/2 on 36 count, it just seems like harder for me to do the 2/2. Like, this is not my best stitching, but I'm going to try to get it done. And I guess I didn't show the chart. It's really cute. I've seen a lot of people stitch it already. I might change the color of the stars at the bottom. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe do red, white, and blue. Gold. We'll see. I just never know. Sometimes I get started on something and then I just change my mind. Teresa Koget. I love her charts. I'm really curious to see if her new ones are haven't stitched any of the new ones. I would like to, but I wanted to clear out the ones that I already had of hers. But I'm curious if, like, now that she herself is getting into cross stitch, if she doesn't have the half stitches. You know, like, I never really complained about half stitches, but they really are kind of a pain. But anyways, I am stitching American Primitives. And because I didn't want to stitch all that red, I'm using 36 count Weeks Aztec Red, which I think is a perfect color for this. So I've got like his beard and his face, good start on that. Moving in on his top hat. And I think, as I mentioned, I don't plan to get this one done this year. I'll stitch on it up until maybe the 4th of July. And then by then, I know I'm going to be all fall. Alrighty. Oh. So, this is from that glorious book by Blackbird Designs, Sweetland of Liberty. And if you don't have it, you want it. I'm stitching on American Eagle. Pardon the noise in the background. My husband's going to do some planting off in the fields. But this is one, I just love this. It's perfect. So I'm stitching it on the called for color 32 count gray. My goal the other night was to get America down the side. And as I started on the C, I was matching it up to the border, and I'm like, why is that off? And realized I have 2 spaces between the M and the E. And at first I was going to leave it, but I know it'll bother me. And so, and I found, like, if I rip, like, and then stitch it, it's easier than stitching it the first time, because I can kind of see where the holes are and don't have to look at the chart as much. But I'm stitching 1/2 with all the colorful colors, and I love this one. So I will be continuing on with it. Yeah, I could stitch any of them in the book. In fact, I have. No, 2 of them. So, I've made progress on May Prairie Schooler. So eventually I would like to get these all done. I have 3 totally finished now, June, July, and December. I have January started, March, I believe, May, and August. And I think I have all the charts except for 1 month. So I got the barn done. And it is one heck of a cute barn, if I do say so myself. So, I'll probably put it away once I get home and haul out August and get moving on that, because perhaps I'll get that one done this year, and then I'd have a streak of June, July, August. That'd be pretty exciting. Alright, what other whips can we find? It's getting down there. Oh, I didn't show Happy Birthday America. Oh, I have more than I thought I did. Happy Birthday America by Brenda Gervais. And you can see, can you see? Hopefully you can see it. Ooh, the sun is getting scorchy now. But I just had a stitch start on this before I showed it. And I just got a little start. Let's see. It's, I've got the bird beak and his feet and a little bit of grass. And this is 36 count. I don't know. It was a kit from the attic, so it's whatever they gave. Maybe vintage country mocha. 1/2. I'm usually mostly called for colors, whatever I had in my stash. Since I'm doing the Wordplay SAL, Lost in Wordplay SAL, and I'll put that hashtag right here for you to see. I finally started on June and just have a little bit of a start, not too far. And this one was a little too monotone for me. So, you know, if I stitch these the way they called, I'd be done with them all already. But I'm using some of the called for colors and then some of my own. And I thought, strawberry pie, it had to be red. So, and yet I didn't want anything too, like, bright and 4th of July-ish. But, got a little start on it. You know, usually for me, once I figure out the colors of it, then I start flying. So I will get that done this month, I hope. Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais. I'm stitching this on 36 count Winter Brew by R&R. And I finished the house. So I need to read on her thing about, like, if you're supposed to stitch 1/4 just to get that line in there. I need to haul that out, but I feel like next I'm going to tackle the roof. So, or at least do the outline, so then I can move on to the basket. I'm not sure what color I'm going to use for the basket. I want it to show up enough. I feel like my house is struggling enough that, and I might like backstitch the edge or something to define it. I think I've talked about that before, but I love this one. And once I haul it out and start working on it again, I really do enjoy it. It's kind of fun. To Dye House and I are hosting a sale for ink circles after the roses, and I'll put the hashtag right up here. And Kathy got hers done. I knew she'd get it done before me, but that's okay. I've made major progress on my stocking. And I really don't have too much more to go. This is the top. The top half is totally done, and this is as far as the bottom goes, so I just need to fill in these corners. So hopefully soon. I'm stitching this 2/2 on 32 count Autumn by Under the Sea, and using all the called for colors. Barbara Keepsakes picked out this fabric for me, and I think she knocked it out of the park. And let's see. Oh, one more. The Scarlett House, American Farmhouse. And sorry, you know, like I didn't do my hair, so I wasn't going to press my stuff either. The Scarlett House. Purchased at Country Sampler in Spring Green. When I first started stitching on this, it's 1/2 on 36 count Edinburgh bark. I was 32 count stitcher at best, and so it was really difficult for me in the beginning. And then little by little, I don't know, you get used to the different counts. You find lights that work for you and magnification. But I have 2 out of the 3 quilts done. So I've got the grass at the bottom and the barn. I'm still trying to decide which of the 2 colors I want to use for the flowers. I feel like my gray, which was, let's see, gunmetal, I guess. It was really gray and not, like on the chart it really has some much more blue tones. So I hauled out a different blue, and I'll show you the 2 flowers again. What do you think? Can you see? If the blue one looks okay. If so, I might use that one. Might leave the gray in. I always say, you know, you might, in nature, flowers are different shades, and so why not? Why rip if you don't have to? All right, so we're making good progress. Oh. Like stuff buried down here. I've got my crates. I've gotten smarter. Last time I filmed or recorded outside, it started raining, or just lightly raining. I had to like make a mad dash. So just some snail mail kindness. Roseanne, part of our local group, she's always so thoughtful. And this is from Shelly. Shelly won the bulb giveaway. That's so fun. I mean, you know, like, who gets regular mail anymore? So it's just fun to plow through your mailbox and find something unexpected. All right, so I've got some FOs. Strawberries and Stripes by Brenda Gervais. I was looking for 3 kind of patriotic designs, small, to fit in a circular finish. And I really like this, but now that I'm done with it, I just don't know that it's vivid enough for what I wanted. I stitched this one over to 36 count dapple. But it's really cute. I could, you know, easily make it into a pincushion or I don't know what. And then I had referenced that I would like to stitch all the designs from this Blackbird design book, but so far I've stitched 2, and this one is finished, if I can find it. It is Sweetland of Liberty. I love this finish. I went to Hobby Lobby and I don't think they have that candlestick anymore. So I need to scout around and look for one. The other thing is, I noticed like it cuts off like some of the stitching. So I really didn't need to finish it all. But hindsight. I'm stitching this on the called for, or I stitched it on the called for color. I think it was gray, maybe 32 count. And I didn't have the main house color, so I used a DMC, which I debated about if it was too vivid, but people seem to like it. I referenced my cheating antiquing method, and basically what I've already done, and it's kind of tricky. No, not really. What am I saying? Not tricky at all. All you need to do is be able to tape good. But in the past, I've cut like painter's tape and covered up all the area except for like this blue that I would want to antique. And then I just took a small paintbrush. Oh, pardon the noise. My husband's coming back from the field. I took a small paintbrush and just put it in dry instant coffee and just scrubbed it a little bit. And it was just enough to tone it down a little bit and antique it. But you just have to make sure you press down tight on the areas. But I don't even know if I'm going to bother because I do like that color. So anyways, that is Sweet Land of Liberty. So I think that leaves me maybe 3 others from the book to stitch. Now, I wanted to do Sweet Freedom Berry by Erica Michaels, which I thought was really, really cute. But I didn't want it to be humongous. So I had this piece of 40 count vintage country mocha, and I thought, I can do that for such a small thing. I can do that. So I did. I think I switched out a few of the colors, but at the time, what I didn't realize is those little bits of lettering. Sweet Land of Liberty. Yeah, they're 1/1. So I did 1/1 on 40 count. Yeah, never again. I think you can read them. If not, they'll be on the back. And I think I maybe changed a few of the colors. But I love it. And so I'm gonna try to make my first strawberry. It'll be kind of fun. All right, let's see. Okay, so that's it for my FOs. What else have I been working on? Oh, this is Little House Needleworks May. These are cute. I made a mistake and did the door and windows wrong. But I'm like, good enough. I want to get this series done. I'm kind of over it. But I've really, as I've mentioned before, I've made a concerted effort not to do quite as many like series things where there's 12 of them or 4 of them or whatever, because it just is such a time suck, and I want to move on to other things. Let's see here. So we have May Wordplay. I like this one with the little wheelbarrow. I made a mistake when I first stitched the wheelbarrow wheel and I had the fork way too long. It looked like, you know, when they chop a motorcycle and they have the fork way out. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to rip that out. So it just kind of made me chuckle. And then I realized when I finished this, I forgot to put the batting in, but it's just gonna be what it is. You know, these are only gonna be on display for a month. And I don't know that it really makes too much of a difference, so I think I might just leave it. If not, I never sewed it shut, so I probably can just flip it and maybe spray adhesive a piece in. But I changed a lot of the colors just because I wanted it more vivid. Yeah, my beehive is too tall. I'm like, oh, the bees wanted high ceilings. But I like this one. And I just, this reminds me of keepsakes with their bags are green and beige check. So I had to use that ribbon. Good memories. All right, what else do I have? Oh, last year I had started the trilogy Happy Flag Day. And I thought I had made a major error and I was really gonna start it over. Then when I pulled it out this year, I'm like, I'm almost done. Like, why would I start this one over when I could stitch something else? So I just finished it up and called it done. And I think it's cute. I might have changed some of the colors. I think I did. And I filled it with wood chips from our wood pile. And just put a little star ribbon on the back to cover my opening. I feel like it's easier to get the corners stuck good rather than to sew on one of the side seams. So I like that one. And then, where did I put this? Oh, I've always liked this one, and I was on Jen's Stitchy Niche website one day ordering some floss, and I saw this Shakespeare Peddler basket of red, white, and blue marked down. It was for the kit. And I'm like, I already had the little drawer thing from Hobby Lobby. So I'm like, yeah, I checked yes, add that to my cart, and I love it. It's really cute. I didn't do it, Teresa has a tutorial, and I didn't do it quite like she did. I put just a chunk of styrofoam in there. So, because my thinking was, if I want to pull this out, it mostly fills it, and it fits tight enough that, you know, it's not, I mean, I'm not going to be waving this around. But these little drawers are cute. And, so, because I thought, well, yeah, with the color, I could do something Christmassy in there too. So, that's why I didn't make it permanent. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is another freebie. And it's from Farmhouse Not Forgotten blog. I'm trying to think who on Instagram had done this. And I liked it so much, I was like, I am going to find that chart if it kills me. And I finally did. I will try to see if I can put a link on it. But it's the little patriotic thread spool or floss spool with the flag. And I just put a strip of this banding fabric and some striped fabric, and then ruched a little ribbon and tied it with cord just to bring some more color in. And then on the back side I covered my turn slash by just fusing some fabric on and then edge stitching roughly with some X's to make it a little decorative. But I really like this. This is one of my favorite patriotic finishes. So I will try, because I know when I showed the fabric, or not the fabric, the whip, people were asking me about it. So I will try to provide a link in the description box. That's the little downward triangle. Let's see. Oh, hey, we're only at 40 minutes. That's really not too bad. I thought it was going to be worse than that. So I'm going to show some things that I am going to start on. I've always loved this phrase, to grow a garden is to believe in tomorrow. And this chart by Lila's Studio, I just think would be really, really cute. So hopefully you can see that. I have a piece of Almond Buff 36 count by Seraphim that I think it's just a good neutral. So I think that's what I'm gonna stitch it on. And then, you know, so many of us have been started the, you know, put the hashtag here, started samplers stitching in support of Brenda and the Serial Starter. And so it was a while ago when she got hers back from the framer, but I went on the website right away and got this chart. All Joys for Thine, Blackbird design. And I have it kitted up with 36 count Heartland, which I believe is the called for color. I bought Bee's Knees, but I think I'm going to use the Heartland. I really love the mottled look of it. And I'm all ready to go with all the called for colors. Really pretty shades. Stitching it 1/2, and you know, like something like this used to scare me, but when I look at it now, they really aren't bad. It's not like a ginormous chart, even like as big as Winter Rose Manor. So that will be fun. I still have Summer from those Little House Needleworks ABCs to work on. So I might start that just because it's the only one I have missing, and I have my cabinet, and so would like to get that done. Now let's see, what other things have I... Oh, my granddaughter wore the dress I made for our daughter for her first communion, and it was maybe about 3 weeks before the event, and I mentioned to my daughter, I'm like, what is she like, did you get her a dress? And she's just like, well, not yet. And I'm like, oh, you know, and she's like, are you volunteering to make her one? And I would have, you know, definitely, but there really aren't as many places to get like pretty specialty fabrics anymore. And so I had given my daughter her dress like, wow, a couple of years ago, and it was in pretty good shape. So I said, did you ever try your dress on her? And she said no. Well, then that night I get a text with a picture of our granddaughter in the dress, just like beaming, like just beaming. and it was a little too big for her and a little too long. But then the next day at breakfast, my daughter hears Jocelyn, who was talking to her 5-year-old brother and telling him about the dress and that I made it for her, and you know, or made it for my daughter, and how beautiful, and she couldn't believe that anyone could make a dress like that. And she finally just stopped and looked at him and said, it's just exquisite. Well, you know, right then any grandma heart just bursts, and I'm like, okay. So I came over and we tried the dress on her, and it really was too big. And it had sheer sleeves, and at the time I used transparent elastic, and that must have disintegrated because the sleeves were just hanging loose. And I'm looking at it, and you know, you're thinking, well, with COVID, it's going to be a smaller event, and I sure hope you can still see this. A smaller event, and so that better? You know, like, if it's good enough, it's good enough. And it had yellowed too, and I knew I washed it after she wore it, but I started doing some investigation online, and they said that if you wash it in like OxyClean and Dreft, or, you know, a mild detergent, soak it in the bathtub overnight. So I did that, and it was amazing, the difference. It got it much, much whiter. And I guess it's because white fabrics, a lot of times they have to use bleach and dyes to get them white, and so then later on it starts to discolor it. So it's not like anything you've done wrong with cleaning it or protecting it or whatever. They said it's not good to put it in like a plastic bag, and I know I didn't have it in a plastic bag, but anyways, so soaked it, got it clean, or much brighter white, and then went over and figured out how I could make it smaller, because, you know, like, it was a sheer fabric and it had scallops at the waist, so the top was loose from the skirt attached to the lining, and I had French seam like the sleeves, and that's like where you sew it inside out and then you sew it again, so the raw edge is all encased in like a separate little seam. So there's all this French seaming, and honestly, I could have made at least 2, maybe 3 dresses in the length of time that it took me to get it altered and sewn back together. Because I had like beaded it and put some like transparent sequins on it, and so then you had to try to cut those off to get at the inside of it, and I got it back together, took it over. I still had just like to put the elastic back in the sleeves, and so try it on. It fits her beautifully, but I'm like, don't ever look at the inside of this, because this is not how I would typically sew. But anyways, it fit her beautifully. I said to my daughter, okay, you know, all I have to do is put the elastic in, that'll be easy. And she's like, oh, you know, hopefully those aren't your famous last words. Well, wouldn't you know. I had so much trouble with my bobbin thread on my good machine, what I call my good machine. It's getting older and older. But so finally I had saved the Kenmore that my husband bought me, like, I don't know, I think I was still a teenager, and I hauled it out. I'm like, well, maybe this will sew better. Well, it, like, first time was just like a charm. So I guess, you know, I need to take in my good machine and maybe have it cleaned and tension adjust or whatever. But anyways, it's done. And then we had, what else? Oh, we had a Lego cake. Well, it was fine. I mean, it was not my best effort, but I'll see if I can put a shot in here for you. You know, you look on Pinterest and think, oh, that'll be easy. And I made the cake. You know, I always think I have to make a homemade cake, not a cake mix. And I'm like, why? You know, who's really gonna care? So I thought it was gonna be really easy. They talked about how you bought store-bought frosting, and he wanted chocolate cake, so I thought I'll make homemade frosting. It's like a cooked frosting that my mom always made, and it actually tastes really good. So I had dirty ice the cake, and then you're supposed to just like dye the store-bought frosting and heat it up, and so you're doing like really bright colors, and of course his favorite color is red, which is, you know, probably the hardest to get. And so you're supposed to pour it over. Well, it's like this, you know, and you have to have it be hot enough and yet not too hot that it's gonna just slide off the cake. Well, it did not go on quite as I had anticipated. And then the yellow I made was called, I bought the color special, but I think it was like mustard yellow or something like that. Now, you know, like more like French's mustard. But honestly, it looked like nacho cheese going over the top of the cake. Like, oh my gosh, this is not my best. So then I'm like, you know, he's 6. I think he'll be okay with it as long as, you know, the cake tastes all right. So then I just made like a handmade little brightly colored happy birthday sign, like little pendant sign to put over the 3 little cakes that I had made. But honestly, you know, I said from now on I'm just doing round cakes, and like I didn't want to put Lego figurines on it because I thought, you know, chemicals and whatever. But I'm like, one time I used dinosaurs and I put like a fake top on and then just lifted that off, and it had frosting underneath and was all yummy. So that's how I've been spending my time. Oh, this is pretty exciting, at least for me. I have set my retirement date, so I'm really thrilled about that. It's going to be at the end of July. I was kind of hoping to get back in the office and, you know, just have a few less days with the people that I have worked with for quite a while now, and just, you know, really, you know, that's the hard part. But when I realized, like, they're just doing a trial volunteer, very slimmed down return to work, and it's still going to be months out before the masses are back. And then I kept thinking, it's just not even going to be like, you know, I think back to the days where you brought in treats and they were spread all over the table. And, you know, I really don't know that they're going to let you do that anymore. So anyways, I have lots of vacation to use, which is why I'm sitting outside on this beautiful Tuesday. My schedule is basically, you know, work a few days, off a few days, work a few days. So yeah, now that I've made this decision, it can't come too soon, and it's probably a good thing because I thoroughly embarrassed myself last department Zoom call. I was not on camera, thank goodness, but there were, like in Wisconsin, we've gotten these potato bugs that we never had them. In the last couple of years, we've had them now. But before the meeting, during my lunch hour, I had vacuumed my bedroom, and so the vacuum was still in there. I had my laptop on the bed. Well, somehow I must have accidentally clicked unmute. And as I'm sitting there, I saw this potato bug like up on the wall, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to squish them because they smell if you do that. And so I'm going to just vacuum them up. So I turn on my vacuum, and then I thought, oh yeah, I wanted to vacuum out the window here because like when the screens are open and whatever, there's stuff that had gotten in. So I did that. And then I'm like looking around, you know, kind of listening to the call and thinking, is there anything else? And then I'm like, no, I think I have everything. And so I shut the vacuum off, and all of a sudden my phone dings, and I look at it. And it's my young coworker sent me a text, and he's like, mute, mute, mute. Oh God, I could have died. I could have died, but I'm like, you know, I am that person. 120 people on the call, and I am that person. And so then I start like pinging everyone that I know was on the call. I'm like, how bad was it? And they're like, well, it just kind of sounded like someone turned on a mixer, and then it got more faint, and then it stopped. So I guess it could have been a lot worse, and it would have been worse if it would have been my video instead of the sound, because I probably look worse than this. So I'm like, yeah, it's probably time for me to say goodbye, as hard as it will be. Oh, and the one other thing I wanted to mention, a while back I had done posed the question, is this a thing? And it was about getting little holes in my shirts. And I think we, you know, by process of deduction, came to decide it was probably related to, you know, like jeans and thinner tops and rubbing the button. And so one of my viewers had sent me a link to these plastic button covers, and so I'm like, heck, I'm gonna order some of those. So I found them on Amazon, and so I did buy some, and I am testing them out now. So I will let you guys know if I have any future holes, or if they really do protect. Let's see, what else do I have? Not too much else, just, you know, doing a lot of gardening. I mulch like twice at home because I hadn't mulched last year, so really needed it. And then of course you plant, and then it's like, oh, really could use some more just to make it look really good. And I dug up a bunch of perennials to split and gave to a couple friends, and you know, it just cleans it all up and makes it look really nice. So I'm hoping I used the deer off before we left to come up here, so I'm hoping that I still have plants left. And also it got really cold down there, so hoping that there wasn't too much frost to destroy things. So we'll be heading home probably tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to get this uploaded, and we'll see. You know, like lately for work, the internet has gotten speedier, so I'm hoping this can kind of be my trial to see how things are. So anything else? Let's see. No, I think I actually made a list. So I think I've covered it all, so I'm gonna stop talking, and hopefully the sun isn't in your eyes like it's in mine. I'm like sweltering. Somewhere here I have a glass of tonic, nothing in it, but so that's about it. Yeah, just it's been great, you know, getting together with the grandkids because everyone's vaccinated, and our son was home for almost a full week, and we could have his godparents over for dinner, and you know, it's just the little things you always maybe took for granted. So I'm gonna sign off now and get myself out of the sun before I bake anymore, and I hope you're all doing well and continue to fill the world with love. Thought I would show you a little bit of how my patriotic shelf looks all put together. This is newly created, so I probably will be switching it around a little bit as I find things that I like the size and shapes and textures of better. But if you've watched some of my older videos, you'll remember this as my trim cord winding place. The hooks work great for that. Instead of having hooks anywhere else in the house, I just come down to the foyer and put the floss loop onto one of the hooks, which normally have coats on it because it's in the foyer, and works great as a temporary thing many people have in their house anyways, and just my little tip. But the new things this year that I finished up, the two on top, the one on the right with the spool of thread is a freebie, and I'm going to talk about these more in the actual video itself. And this one I almost threw away, and I don't know why I would have wanted to start it over because I think it's really cute. I believe it's Happy Flag Day. And then the third newbie for the year is I think it's Liberty, but I'll talk about it more. This is one of Shakespeare Peddlers, Teresa's. designs, and it came as a kit. The kit was on sale, and I'm like, I've always wanted to stitch it, so I clicked and put it in my cart, and it was fun. It was a great, easy finish, so if you're new to finishing, I highly recommend this. Some of my older ones, Stars and Stripes, that I finished as a little flat fold. And then, of course, this cute one with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And can't recall the name right now, but I love it. I just did it as a flat finish, no flat fold. And because it's just leaning against the wall, I think it works out great.